So now we're just going to do a little demo of what this would actually look like. So if you are on Mac, I'll just close this for now. You can command space to look for a terminal and just open it. Otherwise, you can look in in the file explorer that you're used to. And so first thing we'll do is just print our working directory. So we can see that we are just in my user home directory. And we're going to do some kind of navigating on the desktop so we can see things visually as they happen. So if we go onto the desktop, you can see visually that my desktop doesn't have anything on it. And if we type ls, we'll see that reflected. But you might want to take note that there are some hidden files there. So if we do ls-a, we can see those files that start with a period. We can also look at some additional information about those files using the -l flag as well. So this will give us the permissions, owner, the size, as well as the location and date. So let's make an example directory here. So we can just call it example, and we can use our mkdir command. Let's create a file inside of that directory. So this would be our touch command. And then remember, you can use tab to autocomplete commands. So I just press tab. It knows I'm looking for the example folder because there's only one thing on my desktop that starts with E. And then we can just maybe name it new file.txt. So if we cd into our example folder and list its contents, we can see that file now exists. And we can also take a look at ls-l, and we can see that file is completely empty. So let's just pretend that we maybe have a project and we're keeping track of some papers by their PubMed ID. So I'll just throw this contents in there. So we have some different lines here with some PubMed IDs. So let's just save that. And we can see that actually is reflected in our file here with our cat command. So new file.txt, we'll see the contents of that file printed out. And perhaps we want to name this something more applicable to what the content that we have inside of it. So we can use our mb command here to rename our file, and we'll rename it papers.txt. So we can see that name changed with our ls command. And if we go back to our desktop and maybe we forgot where we put that papers.txt file, we could use our find command. So find is going to look, first of all, in your first argument in the directory. So a period is going to mean the directory that you're currently in, which for us right now is desktop. And we're going to look for a file called papers.txt. And as you can see here, it's saying in your current directory, inside example, and there's papers.txt. So that can be a helpful command to know. And remember how I said there's a lot more options with find. Well, we can look at those quickly with this man find command. So as you can see here, it's listing many different flags that you can use with the find command that might come in handy at some point. And we can just press Q to exit that menu. So if we head back into our example folder here, perhaps we want to look at all of the lines inside of this papers.txt file that have this PMID string in it. So for that, we could use our grep command, and we'll look at it in a case-insensitive way. So we can just put this in lowercase, and we'll look at papers.txt. So here we can see this will print out the lines that contain that PMID, case insensitive. But perhaps we had multiple text files in that example folder that all had PubMed IDs contained in them, and we wanted all of those lines. We can search recursively through that whole directory with another command that was in the presentation, which was grep-r. So that's, remember, recursive. We're going to look through this folder for this string. So here we can see that it will actually print the path to the file that it found this line in, and then the line itself. So finally, we can remove this example that we've created, except if we do it now, it's going to say, hey, this directory is not empty. You can't delete it. So you have two options. You can either use the -rm-r command to recursively delete the directory, or you can delete the file contents itself. And I'm just using tab to autocomplete there. So if we delete the file first, then we are able to remove the folder, and you'll see that it went away there. So I know that was kind of quick through everything for those of you who haven't used Terminal before, and I hope for those of you who have, maybe you learned at least a thing or two. But with that, I will pass the lecture on to Sherry, who will be talking about Python.